Yo, what is up guys, and welcome back to another episode of Slice of Shonen. I am your host, the Cloudy Crow, and today we will be ranking all 12 of the Chainsaw Man endings from best to worst. Now, before we get into anything, the first thing I want to say is, unsurprisingly, this video is probably going to get demonetized. So I would very much appreciate if you guys could click that like button to boost this video up in the algorithm and hit that subscribe button so that you guys can stick around for the hype stuff that we have planned for next season, Winter 2023. I'm thinking of starting a brand new series called Gem Hunt, where I try to sit down and react to as many of that season's anime as possible, kind of sift through all of them to try to find any hidden gems that I might have otherwise looked over, and then you guys, through liking the video, get to decide which ones I continue and which ones I drop. So that should be really exciting. But anyways, back to this video. So if you've been living under a rock, Chainsaw Man just ended, and I absolutely loved it. First season was great, 12 episodes have finished, and this anime did something really cool that I've never seen any other anime do, which is the fact that at the end of every single episode, we got a brand new ending song by a completely different artist. So here today, we have 12 songs, 12 different artists, 12 different styles, and I'm gonna be ranking each of them by which ones I think were the best and which ones I think are the worst, based on a couple of categories that I like to use when evaluating music. So here are the categories right here. You guys can pause and look through them yourself. I'm not gonna read it out just for time's sake, so you guys can pause and check it out. But basically, the higher categories are going to be weighed less than the lower categories. The ones like originality and jam factor are gonna be the most important. And then I ranked each category from S rank, which is the highest. This is like amazing. And then C rank is at the bottom. That's the lowest score, and that's supposed to represent like unimpressive, lackluster, stuff like that. So without any further ado, here are my rankings for all of Chainsaw Man's 12 endings, from the best ending to the worst ending. Let's get into it. Alright, so for our first anime, placed at number 12, this one actually pained me quite a lot, because I love Aimer. I love Aimer just as much as the next guy, but I'll explain why I had to put them as low as I did. There are some good points to this opening, but it lacked in a lot of areas that the other openings excelled, like for example, the jam factor. This isn't a song. As much as I love it, this isn't a song that I think anyone could realistically consider a jammer. For the jam factor, I'm looking for things like how catchy the song is, how memorable the song is, how much it makes you want to get up and dance or get up and sing along. This ending just unfortunately doesn't have much of that. The other area where I had to rank it pretty low is in the visuals, because although there are some points where the visuals are kind of cool, you see the blood like turn into a hand and then the intestines transform to make something, but let's be honest, if you sit down and watch it, 80% of the entire video is just like blood and guts flowing with a black background and nothing's really happening, and so I had to rate it pretty low there. But as you can see, for vocals, it does have a S. The vocals are amazing. They, in my opinion, carry the song, and I think that's where Aimer really shines. But all of the other areas were they were good, they were solid, but visuals and jam factor are what really held this back from going up higher, as much as I love the artist of this song. Now for number 11, we have the 6th ending of Chainsaw Man, Rendezvous by Canaria, and this one, it's just overall like solid. There's nothing that really stands out from this opening. There's nothing that I rated super high. Everything overall is just a pretty solid opening. The only area where I kind of, pull back some points is when it comes to visuals, because the visuals, although they are interesting, they don't really pop out at you. I feel like if there were more colors, it would have been more satisfying to look at, but everything's just kind of gray, black, and white. And then I think there's like a little bit of red, but visually it's just not super memorable. It doesn't leave a lasting impact. But it is a little creative, so that's why I didn't give it a C. But everything else is just solid. The music is nice, the vocals are nice, it's pretty original, you know? I really just don't have many bad things to say about this. This is probably the most, like, overall solid, like, jack of all trades out of all of the openings, which means that every opening going forward is going to have something that makes it shine, that makes it stand out. Now for number 10, we have probably one of the most fun openings, which is Tablet by Tubo, the 4th ending of Chainsaw Man. And this one's just perfect because it's supposed to represent Power. We know Power is this super chaotic character, the song is super chaotic, and she's literally the only character, or the main character, that's showcased throughout this entire song. There's a ton of crazy things happening when it comes to the visuals, which is why I gave it an S. The visuals look amazing. Like, outside of all the crazy things happening, it just looks very aesthetically pleasing. I really like that sort of comic style that it has to it, that very hand-drawn style. I really like that, and you will see that in some of the other openings going forward as well. But the only area where I hold it back just a little bit is with the vocals, because even though the vocals are interesting, there's not really much range to their vocals, and you'll really see this in openings going forward where they might start off slow and then there'll be like this drop where they instantly pick up the pace. It gets much more hype, much more exciting, and that just kind of gets bonus points for me in my book. This one is just kind of consistently the same kind of vocals throughout the entire thing. The music does switch up towards the end, but it's not anything crazy. And if they would have had something like that, some sort of drop, or just some way of dynamically changing the pace of the opening, then it probably would have been put higher. But overall, this is a good song. Just because it's at number 10, and just because Aimer's at number 12, does not mean that these are not good songs. These are great songs. Just out of this pool of 12 openings, you know, someone's got to be at the bottom. For number 9, I actually love this song so much. Just because, and also this is the first ending, so you see this in the first episode, and I love it so much because I think out of all of the openings, this one is the most representative of what Chainsaw Man is. We have this really cool like rock or metal song, and the chorus, man, the chorus, it's super simple, it's super catchy. That's why I gave the jam factor an S, because all you have to do is listen to it once, and then the second time listening to it, you'll already be singing along with the chorus because it's so easily memorable, it's so catchy, and it fits the visuals perfectly because the series is called Chainsaw Man, and for the entire like second half of the ending, it's just a chainsaw man ripping a bunch of zombies apart. Like, it fits perfectly. The only really low score is music, and that's just because the music doesn't stand out too much. You realize it's there, but it's not doing anything crazy. I'm pretty sure I've heard these same kind of notes being hit in a bunch of other openings, like Megalobox, for example. This reminded me a lot of that opening. So it's nothing too crazy, but the opening as a whole, if they didn't do this thing where they had a new ending every season and I had to pick one to represent all 12 episodes, this one would be perfect. There's no better one than this. Alright, so now for number 8, and for every single opening going forward, you're probably gonna hear me say I just absolutely love this opening. Like, none of these are mid. We're past that now. All of these openings going forward are amazing. And so here for number 8, we have the 11th ending of Chainsaw Man, Violence by Queen Bee. And as you can see, nothing but A's and S's. The A's for me represent like amazing, and then S's represent perfect. Like, I wouldn't change a thing. When it comes to the music, I love the music in this opening. That guitar, when there's nothing playing, it's just dead silence, and then every once in a while you hear a doon doon doon. And it's so good, man. Another thing I really like is how there's a little bit of a drop. The pacing doesn't change too much, but there is a noticeable drop before you get to the part where it's like power dancing, and that's why I had to give this jam factor an S, because it made me dance. When I saw power dancing, I was dancing, and it's so good. Originality also gets an S. I don't think there are many openings out there like this, at least that I've heard. So this is just, man, we're really getting into the good songs now. Now for number 7, we have ending number 7, Chu Tayose by Anno. And this opening, out of every single one of them, like the highest ranking you can give, or I can give, is S. So you're gonna see a lot of other openings that have S in the visuals, but out of all of them, this one has my favorite visuals. I absolutely love that retro, like 80s or 90s anime art style that it has. Reminds me a lot of like Sailor Moon, Saint Seiya maybe. And I love how you even have the CRT. It's just, it feels super nostalgic. The originality obviously is there. I can't think of a single opening like it. And the jam factor, once you get to the get up, like it makes you want to sing along, it makes you want to dance along. Like this, just no doubt about it, this deserves to be where it is right now. And I think it's perfect, because 7th place, ending number 7, can't get much better than that, man. Now for number 6, we have the final ending, which is the final of the 12 endings, which is ending number 12, Fight Song by Eve. And this one, you can already see from the score, we got 4 S's and 2 A's. I'm sure many of us are unsurprised about these ratings. The thing that I love about this opening is the fact that it is the perfect ending. Like, it's the perfect ending for the last episode. It wraps up everything that happened throughout the series. We see a ton of different scenes from earlier episodes, and then the entire rest of the ending is just us kind of experiencing a day in the life of these guys whenever they're not on the clock, whenever they're in their casual clothes, going out grocery shopping, coming home, chilling. It's super just comfy. It has a really comfy vibe. It is a really good song. But the other ones above this, they kind of push the envelope a bit. They bend the boundaries when it comes to what is a good ending. You'll see why once we get to the higher songs in this list. Now, for number 5, we have ending number 10, Dogland by People One, and this is the perfect example of what I was talking about for the last song when it comes to songs that push the boundaries for what is an anime opening. The visuals for this one, although they weren't crazy, they were super unique. It looked, I don't even remember what the style is called, but it basically looks like when they took, or when you take photos of real life scenes and then you kind of redraw them, or you like take the photos and you color over them. It had that brown color filter, which I've never really seen before. It reminded me a lot of the Higurashi visual novel, so that was really cool for me. And then the vocals, man, the vocals. He went through like 5 different ways of singing in this one song alone, and that made the song feel a lot longer than it actually was, which is cool because I was enjoying the ride all the way through and through. So it was really hard placing this one. At one point I had this at 3rd place, at one point I had this at 6th place. Like it was really hard to figure out a nice point, but I think now I've finally figured out the best place to put this, which is at number 5. Now for number 4, we have the second ending, which is called Time Left by Zuto Mayo. And as you can see from the score, I'll let it speak for itself. Nearly perfect. All of the openings going up from here, they all are like nearly perfect. There's just one little thing that they're missing. One thing that they didn't nail absolutely perfectly, but everything else is phenomenal about the opening. This one is so good. I love the guitar in the beginning when you see that like heartbeat on the screen. And the only area where I don't know, I feel like this isn't even a low score. It's an A. I gave it an A, but the only area that didn't get an S was originality, just because I feel like there are a couple songs like this out there, but clearly they figured something out, because I love every song out there that has this sort of style. The visuals are really cool. Like I said, I really like that sort of hand-drawn visual style. It looks really good. The vibe is great. Music is great. Like I said, the guitar in the beginning. The vocals are great. Jam factor. Once you get to that drop, like it's already good before you get to the drop, but once the drop comes in and Denji's like falling from the sky, that part is so good. Like, man, I was not expecting this, and I'm sure no one out there is gonna complain about this placing. Like, top 4 out of 12, that's amazing. That is phenomenal. Now we are finally at the top 3, and at number 3 we have the 8th ending, First Death by TK from the Rin Toshite Shigure. That name was so hard to figure out, man, because it's in kanji, and when you look at the translated comment that the artist left under the video, the like English translation even misspelled it, so I don't know what it is, man. This is my best guess. But anyways, back to the actual song. It's amazing, man. This song, the coolest thing about this is I actually made a reaction to this song when it first came out. And when I first heard this song, I thought it was good, but I didn't think it was this good, like top 3 good. I didn't think it was that crazy, but the more and more I listened to it, the more I had to respect it. It's just such a good song that nails so many things beautifully, and that drop, man, is so sick because it has a lot of slow and then fast-paced parts, and it sounds almost like there's multiple different songs mashed into this one song because of how many different like flow switches there are, which I really like about it. But like the visuals were cool, music was cool. Like, I really don't have much else to say. It's just a fantastic song. Top 3, definitely deserves its placement, and even though I was very confused about where to put it earlier, I have no doubts at all anymore. 3rd place sounds good to me. And now for 2nd place, we have ending number 5, In the Back Room by Pseudo. And this, look at the scores right there. That is literally the closest you can possibly get to a perfect score, because not only does it have 5 out of 6 S's, but the one score remaining is an A, and it's the score it's the category that's weighed the lowest, because jam factor is the most important to me and visuals is the least important to me. So even though it only got an A in visuals, that's the least important category to me. So this is so close to being a completely across the board S tier song. The vocals are what really bring this song home. If I could, I would put an S+ for vocals, because when that drop comes in and you hear the that range in the artist's vocals, it is so perfect. Like I wouldn't change anything about this opening. The visuals were even great. Like that's still amazing. I love the symbolism in the visuals as well. When it shows that horse that's running, it's supposed to represent the first ever animation, where I think there was this sort of like round box with a light inside, and it had little cutouts of a horse, and when you'd spin it really fast, it would look like a horse galloping. And I wouldn't be surprised if some people put this above the #1 spot, but I'm pretty confident that the #1 spot deserves to be where it is once you hear it. So without any further ado, the #1 best Chainsaw Man ending of the entire season is going to be And of course, ladies and gentlemen, for #1, we have ending #3, Hawari Nyoku Senti, or I think it's called like 100-inch long needles or something like that, by Maximum the Hormone. They get S's across the board and everything, and this is the opening that has not only pushed the boundary, or the ending that's not only pushed the boundaries of what makes a good ending, but it also nailed every single category perfectly. There's like, dude, #1, this is a heavy metal anime opening. How many heavy metal anime openings can you even think of right now? I dare you to list off 10 from anime that you've actually seen. No shot you'll be able to deliver 10 of those, because it's just such a rare genre in anime. Usually there's a lot of like J-rock, maybe even some J-pop openings, but never J-heavy metal. I've never even heard that term before, but this is sick. Maximum the Hormone, they absolutely killed it. I had a lot of fun making this list, but this was also one of the hardest videos I've ever had to make, because I had to review the placings multiple times to make sure that I made this list as true to me as possible. I didn't want to give any songs any special treatment because of how I feel towards the artists or any of that, and perfect example of that is Aimer at #12. I love those guys, and I'm still beat up about it that I had to put them that low, but hopefully you guys at least understand why I put these openings where I put them, and feel free to leave your own personal lists in the comment section down below. I also made a video where I ranked the top 10 best openings of all of fall 2023. From out of like 46 different openings, I narrowed it down to the top 10, even gave some honorable mentions. So if you'd like to check that out, the link to that should be right here, but it'll also be in the description. Open it up in another tab, check it out whenever you got the time. I would very much appreciate it. But with that, I'm going to be ending the video here. Thank you all so much for watching this far into the video. Hopefully I'll be making plenty more of these in the future, so subscribe if you'd like to see more of this content, or if you'd like to see my upcoming anime reaction content. Make sure to subscribe so you can check it all out. Have it all pop up in your feed whenever you click open YouTube. But with that, I'm going to end everything here, and I will catch you all in the next one. Have a good one.